and thanks for joining us here as part of the Inner Circle Wine Club with Mazza Wines. Today we're going to be tasting the Winemaker's selection, and we're here today at South Shore Wine Company. I'm Mario Mazza.
I'm Blaine Ballard.
And Blaine, tell us a little bit about the selection here. This is the harvest installment of the club.
Yeah, and for the Winemaker selection, the holiday season, I thought it'd be kind of nice to have some wines from our cellar to yours, so to speak. We've got three different styles here. We've got a traditional method Champenois, sparkling Pinot Noir. We've got an oak-aged Riesling, which a lot of people don't think of white wines as being oak-aged, but traditionally Old World style, there have been some, and this is a dry Riesling that's been aged on oak. It's a part of our La Familia series. And then we've got a port-style wine, which is aged in our whiskey barrels from one of our other operations. So it'll be fun to taste through these with you guys.
Yeah, so really quite a range of selections. So we'll start off with the sparkling Pinot Noir. You hit on it, Blaine. This is a traditional method or method Champenois. And what that means is the wine was fermented into a base wine. So we press the Pinot Noir as a rosé. So we're not trying to get a lot of color out, so we maintain just a little bit of light color. There's a harder pressing fraction that we don't incorporate into this wine. We really want this delicate base wine. Goes through a secondary fermentation in the bottle. We go through a riddling process, disgorging, and basically that secondary fermentation occurred in that bottle. That's how we generate this natural effervescence, the natural carbonation in that wine. Very simple for dosage perspective at the very end. So we finish the wine dry or brut style, and really just maintaining a beautifully crisp, rosé. I should mention this fruit, Pennsylvania Pinot Noir, partnering with Vineyards and Winery. They grow some great grapes down there. Also make some wonderful wines, but we also work with the Zaleski family to pick up some of their grapes for a couple of our wines here at South Shore in particular, including this Pinot Noir.
Yeah, I love this wine. It's the color on it. It's beautiful, but also a little bit of time on the skins with that Pinot Noir really gives it some of those traditional Pinot Noir flavors. So it sees some contact, and then you get a little bit of that cherry, and so it has a little bit more going on than maybe method Champenois that hasn't seen that much contact with the skins or is predominantly Chardonnay or another grape.
Right. Yeah. It's got a bit of depth and character to it, but none of the phenolic character. So yeah, really great wine for the holiday season, or every day of the week.
Yeah, it's nice bubbles.
So going on to the next wine here, this is part of the La Familia series, which is more set up as a kind of experimental or small run portfolio program. These are often actually generated as, I guess for the winemaking team, fun projects that we have. So this was actually a wine that was developed or kind of envisioned by a former assistant winemaker, Anit Pradhan, and he did a really great job with this. He wanted to create this barrel-aged Riesling. He had done his Euromasters Vinifera Masters in winemaking in Europe, spent time in both Germany and France, and he was inspired a little bit by the aged Rieslings in Germany. And so, like you said, Blaine, it's very non-traditional, I think, especially in the U.S. market, to see an oak-aged Riesling.
Right.
For this, we actually used new puncheon. So brand new French oak, Mercier is the cooperage, and it was intentionally barreled in brand new puncheon. This wine has this golden hue, and it's really designed to age and lay down. So we're kind of spoiling it by taking this wine out early. It still drinks wonderfully now, but this wine is designed and built for 5 and 10 years from now to be held and laid down, held on to, and drunk later.
Right. It's nice to see that in a white as opposed to a red. It makes you kind of think about the process sometimes and lets you lay it down for a little while.
Yeah. And this is something that's not, I would say, not necessarily novel or new. Rieslings in Germany, there's a lot that are well known for their ageability, and some aged Rieslings are phenomenal wines, although not often encountered in the market, I would say. What was really neat anecdotally, I think I was sharing earlier, it was only a few years ago that got to pull a bottle of one of our first vintages from Mazza, 73 Traminer, and got to share it with our first winemaker, Helmut Kranig, who's from Germany, from the Geisenheim Institute. He was back with a number of other German colleagues. We had them here for the day. We had a lunch, and my father was able to pull out a bottle of a wine from 45 years earlier that Helmut had made, and we got to share it. And it was amazing how well the wine had held up, and that was a really, really unique occasion, really special occasion to share some of those.
So
wines.
cool. You get a piece of time in a bottle there, and get to experience it. So hopefully you guys can maybe hang on to this one, or order some more, and hang on to it for a while.
Fantastic. All right, and going on for the third wine, the final wine in the flight here. This is a port, much in line with the kind of the tawny style. So Mazza had been making fortifieds for over a couple decades now. So relatively probably young in the world of fortified winemaking, I guess, when we really consider the history, but one of the pioneers, at least in the eastern part of the U.S., in Pennsylvania in particular, of doing fortified. So this is a tawny style port, and Blaine, as you mentioned, aged in whiskey barrels. So we're using used whiskey barrels, often from our own distillery, 5 and 20 Spirits and Brewing, using some of the cooperage out of there. And that helps just meld with that character. So higher alcohol with the fortification here. Also, a bit of residual sweetness finished in this wine. Really makes it great. I don't know what, in terms of pairing, what you would aim for with this.
Probably dessert, maybe if you were having charcuterie board post-meal, or even before, but definitely it screams pair with dessert, chocolate cake, something like that, or on its own as a dessert.
And I would say probably if you're a cigar aficionado.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if I infringed on rights of the magazine by using that, but I like blue cheeses often.
Oh yeah.
I think it's something that I think people don't often associate necessarily.
Right, a little bit of that astringency coupled with the sweetness really makes a nice pairing for sure.
Well, so this is a great selection. Some wines that are definitely unique, have a great little bit of a story behind them to share around the holidays with family and friends. So thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to having you join for another installment with the Inner Circle Club. Cheers.
Cheers.